You know, it goes down in the truth lounge, so you got to be ready. The truth can hurt, but it also can set you free.
Truth lounge.
The truth, yeah, truth.
How y'all doing, world? What's going on? What's going on?
Welcome to the truth lounge. You know it's going down again. We're here to talk about the truth,
yes.
And you know, some of them will like it, and for others it'll set you free.
Oh yeah, I hope so.
For sure, for sure, for sure. So as always, you got your girl Mirrors Beauty here.
You got your boy T.Y.
And last but not least, Pierre.
And we're here to talk to you all about how COVID impacted us. Our first episodes, you all were able to get like a little glimpse into who we were, who we are, what we believe, you know, all of those different things. So we're going to dive into how COVID changed us. So first, we're going to get started with a moment of silence. You know, RIP to anyone that have lost their lives due to COVID, to any family members that are, you know, dealing with the backlash of it. We just want to take a moment and say, you know, RIP, send our condolences. Now we're going to talk about how it changed us. Now we're going to talk about how it changed us.
Okay.
It definitely changed me.
For sure, for sure. So who want to get started? Who wants to get us started?
Well, what I would honestly say, from what I saw, COVID, how it really affected most people is on the relationship side, whether it's your relationship with your job, relationship with your kids, or your significant other. Because your job, most people had to work from home. Then a lot of people, even when their relationships, being around somebody, you know, you be in a relationship, and they say it's 156 hours out the week. Most people don't even spend even half of that time with their significant other. So being around somebody every day and then really seeing their true colors and stuff like that, I think that kind of played a major part. Because I think statistically what I saw, like at least about, they say 17% people got divorced, you know, the domestic violence. So I think it was just a accumulation, just everything, just being caught and stuck in the house, you know what I mean?
People got tired of each other.
Yeah, fast.
Yeah, and I ain't gonna lie though, I wasn't in the house with nobody and I was living my best life, you hear me? As a single woman, was single when COVID came around, when I tell you I was in the house living my best life. So it's definitely always gonna be two sides to the story. So for me, like, that work from home was like a breath of fresh air. I just felt like the world needed a pause. Like, and when you just looked at like on the news and everything around, like the world just had a chance to heal. Like people that's thirsty for attention, you're not outside getting your attention. You know, people that are on social media, that's all we really had. So bring back verses. I will say bring back some good verses. I really enjoyed. Did you watch any of the verses?
I watched a couple of them.
Bring back verses for real.
Since COVID stopped, like, man, what are y'all doing?
Man, yeah, definitely.
I think they got a real big one set up. In Atlanta,
I know.
Puffy and what's the good
Jermaine
Dupri.
Oh, that would be a good
That's
one.
gonna be the best one.
Definitely so. But we definitely, again, had an opportunity to enjoy a lot of things from home that we wouldn't normally be able to enjoy. Personally, I was living in New York, and just the thought of like, you go outside, you breathe the air, you might fall out and die. Like, I'm in the crib. Like, I'm in the crib. So just being in an area that was like highly populated and dealing with, you know, a disease that we didn't have a lot of information about. Like, I know it's related to SARS, like, you know, I remember back in 03, 05, you know, the SARS virus, that was like a big joke. But to see it come back around and to know we've lived through a pandemic, guys.
It's kind of
like,
crazy
really
even
survived.
bring up SARS. You know, we used to look and see the Chinese people wearing the mask and stuff like that on the news. Like, man, what's going on?
They've been wearing the mask for years.
Yeah, they've been on it for years, and then look how so far we done already detached from the mask. I still remember when the airlines reported in mid-flight, and people started taking off their masks, and it was a big hoopla. So I know I was tired of the mask, but it was, I could say the best thing that probably about a mask, if you was trying to not be seen by somebody, you know, you can move around a little bit, but yeah, I was tired of it,
Yeah. Well, I got two things on the mask. The maskity was real, guys. Like, I've always dealt with acne all my life, so that's something that I just can't, okay, cool. But that mask, dealing with it, your sweat, condensation, slob, upper lip smells, like, the mask, sorry, we gonna act like sorry, but the maskity was like a real thing. So I was glad when we were able to, like, you know, free ourselves from the maskity.
He said, mask told you your back tooth, something wrong with that back tooth.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is the mask done turned into something totally different now. It done became people wearing ski masks everywhere.
Yeah,
people
that's
got
true.
masks on. You don't know what's going on.
I don't like that.
You don't know if they sick. You don't know if they on some BS.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical when I see somebody with a mask. Cause the first time now, when I see a mask, you sick. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. You sick and you trying to keep me from getting it.
Yeah.
Cause I'm assuming everybody without a mask isn't sick, but that's not always true.
Right, that's very true.
Are y'all scared to cough in public? Yeah.
Absolutely. What? I'm definitely. You ain't gonna catch me.
moment you look around.
Definitely. Well, I'm
Stick your whole hand in
for real. Just trying to get my vote, but yeah, absolutely. But I will say, I love the cleanliness that COVID brought. Like, being in New York again, that's where COVID affected me the most. Like, I appreciate getting on the trains, and we didn't smell piss. It actually smelled like bleach or pine sol. Like, that was something that was like, and so I do want to also bring back the cleanliness associated with COVID, because people were washing their hands. Now these people don't forget, like,
real fast.
viruses are still out here. So, you know, I want us to get back to the cleanliness. I will say that.
And they just came out with what? I think it's like 4 or 5 different variants since it came out.
Listen. Omicron, yeah. They drop them like James, and you get a pair, and you get a pair. No, for real. It was definitely. But let's just talk about, I am a teacher, so let's talk about how COVID really interrupted like the educational system. Like, I don't know the age of your children, but again, I'm FTK, I don't have none of them. Right. But like just looking at, could you imagine being a kindergartner or being like, even in any grade school other than high school? For high schools, it was really lit, to be honest. But when you're looking at the pivotal time periods in education for kids, and you at the crib, so you got kindergartners, you know, having to do online studying. Like, were you all affected at all?
Oh yeah, because I had to go to work. So it's like, hey, teacher, look, kids, you know, don't fall asleep. Keep laying down, blanket over the. Yeah, it was crazy. So I can imagine the downgrade on grades and just the whole connectivity, even with students. You know, my kids, they was more concerned about seeing their friends more than just learning, because you know it's like school is that outlet from the house. You know, get to meet you know, so it affected them in that way more than just educational wise.
Yeah,
so.
and I think the social aspect of it is something that we don't talk about a lot for our kids. And again, as a person that is in the education system, like, these kids are awkward a little bit, and you can tell that it's because they've missed some of their most pivotal, like socializing, growing to know yourself, like you at the crib. So only thing and then for some of our kids, let's talk about it, like being at the crib was not a good thing, because for some people it was domestic violence, like on the back end of that, you got people in relationship fighting, but you also have the kids that are in the midst of it all. And so, you know, the downside of food, like people weren't eating.
I was gonna say the kids who go to school just to eat, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So, you know, a lot of people go to school to escape, because I remember when I used to be in school, I knew going off subject with teachers, like, oh, you act out. And then growing up, I was like, damn, I acted out in class, because shit, mom was always at work. So I figured that was the best way to get attention, because, you know, you got adults that's gonna give you a little attention because you acting out. But, you know, I can see how it affect the kids nowadays do it, though.
COVID had its way of bringing the best out of some people and bringing the worst out of some people. At the time when COVID hit, I was in a relationship, and that was the best parenting I seen my daughter's mother do. Because her son was at home, and she was the teacher. She was the principal. And all his, right now, I think because of that, his grades are, I think he just became part of the Beta Club. He's on honor roll. So mama played a major role. It was like he didn't miss school. I know to him, he'd rather have been in school to be in her school.
Definitely.
And, different level of accountability.
It was a different, it was all day school. So, but like I said, it definitely brought the best out of some people and the worst out of some people, and it might have made some bad parents better parents, because you had to socialize with your kids. You had to get to know them. They had to get to know you more.
That's deep right there.
That is. That's definitely an aspect. I don't think I even had a chance to like explore.
I didn't even think about that.
I never thought about that, but that was definitely a good perspective. For sure.
Because like you say, I'm off the work, kids home, but it was times I had to call off work like, hey, I got to be here with the kids. So it was different.
And see, I was at work every day. Only thing I didn't get was overtime. Well, I actually got overtime. I worked 7 days a week. I was the only person at my hotel at the time in engineering, so I ain't had no choice.
I love being a teacher, but I really loved being a teacher during COVID. Like, I was at the house, and I still worked, and I still connected and counseled and mentored, but it was such a convenience to do it from the crib. And I think a lot of people realize that we can work from home, and there are platforms that you can work from home, but we do need people out in the streets and in the field.
Oh, you definitely need, Zoom, even just Zoom calls, all that. You know, it was tedious. I will admit, it was tedious.
I was gonna ask you. I see we saw a lot of classrooms on online where something happened that shouldn't have been happening in the background. Mama's running around butt naked. Daddy, kids. So did you ever have any of those experiences as a teacher? Online?
I plead the fifth.
Okay. All right.
I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I got all 5 of them, but I'm pleading it. I'm pleading the fifth. I will say you were able to see at-home life. And seeing at-home life, it really did give you a different insight into who people are and why they are the way they are. Like, even when you're looking at like, okay, this is the space you're being productive in, like, that's what your wall look like, that's what your bed look like, that's what your comforter look. But we don't judge people, but it did just allow you to understand the environment, some people, not even just students, but people, because we ain't gonna lie, some of them employees, like you said, anyway.
Oh, I saw one where the teacher was getting a business while the kids is online.
That's terrible.
Okay.
And it was really hard to like, I know for me, like I had to transition my home. I'll separate work and business, like, and being at home, like those are separate categories. Like I go to work, I have my business and I have my home. Having to blend my home space and my home space is my business space space is my, it was like tiring.
I can imagine.
But I did get my cooking skills up. Your girl got your cooking skills up. I did get my cooking skills up. House was always clean for me. So again, you were able to spend a lot of time with yourself, but you know, for others, it may not have always been as pleasurable, but I enjoyed myself.
I can't say I had it. COVID was a bad thing, but I did have a good experience with COVID coming home from work. Kids already home, everybody already home. My lady at the time, she was working from home. So she had a lot of responsibility. And that's another thing that COVID did, it put a lot more responsibility on parents.
Most
because women that weren't in a home and weren't used to being home have to go out and get money. Now you at home, you actually had to feed your kids 3 meals a day. You actually had to make sure that they did something constructive where they was getting some type of form of education or some type of form of learning. Like I used to tell my lady's son, every day you need to learn something. It don't matter where you at. If we in the house, stuck in the house, it's something around this house you can find that you can learn something new about. So you got to keep furthering your education. And COVID, like I said, it just made some people better, and it brought the worst out of a lot of people. We keep going through this phone thing.
I know, not me today.
Busy people. Matter of fact, I put mine on silent.
Mine on silent. I didn't come into it with on silent.
Mine usually don't be on, but the kids be having the phones sometimes.
Hey, that's another thing that COVID done did. Phones is hot.
Metro booming. No, for real.
Tablets.
Everything.
And everybody the need, like, oh, you can respond, like, what are you doing? What else are you doing? What else are you doing? Like, I'm enjoying my time by myself. I don't want to answer the phone, but like, it made you way more accessible, like, because you weren't seeing people. Like for me, we always took like a Thanksgiving trip with my dad's side of the family, and so it's like for literally like 3 years we were not able to spend that time together, and like that was trash. But you know, it was so many COVID restrictions, just like the way we had to move was just so different, like in all aspects. It really was just,
you scared to share car rides.
Uber, all that. I never took Uber until COVID happened. I was doing it, and the way it was just set up, and I'm like, oh man, it feel like I was in a real taxi cab. He had the whole bubble and everything in there. So it was real.
What is that?
What you want to talk about?
Still talking about COVID. Still talking about how
I was going to tell y'all, you know how they say COVID babies? I had a baby during COVID. And that was probably, out of all the stuff I done been through, that was the scariest situation I ever been in, because I never really got to, that was the only child I was going to get to be at the birth. And I was scared for her mama. I was scared for the baby. I was scared to be in that hospital. And in the process of after having the baby in the hospital, mama caught preeclampsia, so she had to stay. I had to take the baby home for the first 2 days by myself.
A newborn?
A newborn.
Oh, wow.
Man, you know,
a titty.
In COVID. I was scared to death to walk through from the level of the hospital I was on, to walk through the bottom, get in the car, get home. I'm like, man, is COVID gonna hit the baby on the way home? Is COVID gonna hit me? Do I got COVID? I've never been that scared, that worried, that nervous in my life.
I can imagine.
But my little girl she's a superstar right now.
But like you said, good job with these COVID babies too. They a little bit.
A lot of them.
I think that's wrong.
It's hard to detach them from the parent too. They're very like latched on to their parent or whoever they was, because It was more. I
That's
don't
who you
know.
were around.
Yeah, but it just seemed like it's just more of a attachment now, because most babies be around their moms a lot. It just seemed like it was just more of an attachment. And then a lot of these kids too, like the little small ones, they're going through COVID. Like the 4 or 5 that I know, it's like they brain work a little bit different. Like I swear, it's like they had one damn near. Like
Yeah,
before
smaller, it seemed
walking, talking, like just
That's what I was
doing
gonna say.
a
Those
little bit
COVID babies are
Yeah.
advanced. Like
Yeah.
I got lots of nieces and nephews, and like I'm like, why are you talking? Like because you have to think of like you're talking, you're walking, like you're a little advanced, but you have to think about it, they're like sponges. And so if parents had an opportunity to be home, and then the kids were just soaking up what they
Yeah,
saw because
all
that's
day.
who they were around all day, then like yeah, you trying to walk and talk and do too much. Cause I'd be like, hey little baby, chill out, chill out, little baby, chill out. You're doing a little too much, like. But it did, like as we mentioned, COVID definitely had its pros and cons. But I will say, as a person who enjoys traveling, like I selfishly was really impacted with my travel, like.
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous.
Not being able to go to places, like going to places where, they're requiring that you get vaccinated, and like, this is a new drop. Like, I'm not all the way invested at this point, but, being put in positions where I literally had a job that was like, get vaccinated or, or don't come back, and
Right.
it just was sad that we really we real life lived through that. Like, this is a history book moment.
It was definitely damaging to like the economic community, because I know for a fact at least about 6 or 7 businesses that I dealt with on a weekly or monthly basis, they all got shut down due to COVID, due to staffing. So that also was a little crazy, because it was like when COVID first happened, everybody was complaining about having a job and making money. Then it was like in the midst of COVID, nobody can hire nobody, but I can understand because everybody was scared for their safety to go back to work knowing they're gonna get sick. So I think COVID kind of just made us just more cautious, just how you just interact with people, just even just touching and shaking hands. And it's still today, people go shake my hand, I'm still. You know what I mean?
Hit him with the elbow.
Yeah, for real. But you might just get one of these, Wakanda forever. Goddamn, I don't know, it's rough. Yeah, it's rough.
But COVID made a lot of entrepreneurs too.
Oh, definitely.
And PPP loan helped a lot of people.
Hurt a lot of people too, though.
It's gonna hurt a lot of people in the long run, but hey, the ones that did the right thing, I see a lot of people flourishing after COVID that wasn't flourishing before COVID.
True.
Yeah.
They took the initiative and did something with what they had.
Yeah.
Or whatever they attained, however they attained it.
Yeah.
So it made a lot of, and it made in our community, it helped a lot of black entrepreneurs grow.
You know what PPP stand for, right?
I'm listening.
Poor People Payment.
Poor people payment.
Oh, shit.
That's definitely what it was.
Yeah,
That's definitely what it
that's no, because I mean, real talk, when you go really look and see who got majority of the money, it went more to the poor side of the community more than the people who really had their hand in business. There was more people I knew that did not have a legit business that got that money than people who had businesses, and that's crazy.
I kid you not, I know a girl, and I told her, I said, don't do it. And she called me, told me she was gonna do it. She got over 10,000. Never had a business, didn't have a business, didn't have a EIN number.
No.
Never did any business.
What? No way. Oh,
And-
she went for it.
She got it.
She went for it.
There was a lot of people, and a lot of people taking advantage of people where they'll charge you $3,000 to go ahead. All they doing it was on the phone. You could have did it yourself.
Well, my thing is that I know that there were like the PPP grants, but there was also like a loan aspect of it. So it's like, I feel like there was a disconnect in the black community where like maybe more people would have been eligible for the grant versus the loan, because a loan is a loan is a loan. You got to pay that back.
But they gave forgiveness to a lot of people, and that's where a lot of us didn't understand the PPP loan. It's just money, free money. But you have to go through the whole process.
Okay.
So once you got forgiveness, you don't owe the government. The government don't mind you owing them, because that PPP loan, when they hit you for taxes, it's gonna be worse than getting a student loan. You owe people still paying student loans from 1997.
Well, not that long ago, but
It's in 1997.
that's a
Yeah,
My folks graduated college in '97, still paying the government right now today.
Yeah.
That's the worst possible loan you can get. I don't know, and I never understand student loans.
Well, we're gonna have to talk about that on a later episode, because I feel like any loan is like something where it's questionable. Because auto loans, you get an auto loan, but as soon as you drive your car off the lot, it depreciates.
Definitely.
You know, you get home loans, but how long do you have to pay into it before you get equity?
Yeah.
So I will say I am an avid college goer, but there's a free way to go.
Yeah.
But I know that we can definitely table the student loan conversation for another
Another day,
conversation
another
because
day.
we get back to
I got
COVID.
a question. Did any of y'all catch COVID? Yeah.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
How
I
did it
definitely-
affect you?
Thankfully, I will say, when I caught COVID, I didn't know I caught COVID.
Okay.
It wasn't until someone that I knew said that they tested positive. So personally, like, thankfully, like, I didn't have super bad symptoms or anything.
Okay.
So
No, lost the taste.
no,
smell,
none of that.
Okay.
I felt like I had like a sinus infection. Like my head felt a little groggy a little bit. Like I did have a little
Hey, she was
cough.
blessed, y'all. I'm trying to
I
tell
do
you.
thank the Lord, and I did have it
Blessed too,
twice.
man.
Hey, COVID had me
Oh, it took you
down. Down. I'm talking about. I had the hottest chips you could taste from Chicago. I'm smacking on. I'm like, okay.
Oh no.
Smack them again.
Regular
Like,
Cheeto.
man, run straight to the stove, go get the sourest pickle they got. I break the pickle in front of my nose. I was like, I got coke, man. Talking about down in the bed every day. But why it affected me the most, because I was still trying to get up and go to work, and then it was hot. I caught COVID on my birthday. I was downtown on my birthday, slapping hands. You know, it's your birthday. Everybody, it's your birthday, hugging me. You know, I wasn't there, wash my hands. The next day, yeah, COVID was. It got
Somebody passed you, they friend.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so that's why I told you, all that slapping here, I'm
Yeah,
good.
fist bump, hey, buddy. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, I learned my lesson with COVID, but it's COVID. What's the crazy thing about COVID? I know a few other people that caught COVID. It's something called long haul COVID, and they don't talk about that on the news as much. But a few people I know they got long haul COVID. What it do? It give you memory loss. You got the shakes like you got Parkinson. And the two people I know, one of the guys younger than me, and he walking with a cane.
I watched the news a show where they was talking to this lady that she couldn't stop. And it was the after effects of COVID. And I had some after effects from COVID. When I caught COVID, my whole household caught it, except for the youngest boy. He was like
okay.
Superman.
Okay.
We had a New Year's party, so it was me, my girl, her two boys, my 15-year-old daughter, her mama, her brother, his girl, and my cousin, his girl. Everybody got COVID in the house, except for the little boy, 10 years old.
Oh wow. Okay.
And he stayed in the house with us, quarantined the whole time, never caught COVID. And that's when I found out I had a baby on the way.
Oh, okay.
While I was quarantined with COVID. But the after effects for me, I started out of nowhere. I get migraines that kick my ass. I had to go lay down, migraines. I ended up catching blood clots came into my leg. I had a whole lot of different ailments. I can't say they always related to COVID, but everything came
But it
after
kinda
COVID.
shows you.
And I was healthy before COVID.
Yeah.
I could go out and run 6-7 whole courts before COVID.
Yeah.
I run one whole court right now, it's a wrap.
And I think that's what kind of COVID did too. I mean, not to sound, conspiracy theory, but I think it kind of was something that went into your body. Kind of like you put something in your car to flush something out, and it flushes something, and it catch something. Like, oh yeah, because like with the people that was overweight, how it was affecting them, and the people that had diabetes. So I don't know. I think it was something more that was also just trying to see how your immune system was. I think it was just something that was, just to test.
I think it was, again, I don't want to get into the conspiracy theory stuff, but like population control is a real thing.
I believe.
And I do believe it was more so the battle of the fittest. So like, and not to say that that's a good or a bad thing, because we don't know if this thing came from them wet markets and bat soup, or if it came from a chemical lab. And so I don't know if you all have read any recent articles, but that's what like the great debate is. They think that it maybe came from a lab where they were doing studies on coronavirus, because as we mentioned, SARS, like, coronavirus has been around, it's just COVID-19 is like a newer version. And so like, just trying to figure out where did this come from, and the thoughts of it did what it needed to do.
I'm never gonna trust the government. So I do believe to a certain degree that it was part of population control. But you gotta think, because we killing the planet. And everything, we running out of food. They constantly making clone food, clone meats. We running out of everything. So I believe, I ain't with the Illuminati stuff and all that, but you got the powers that be, that control stuff. I believe they put something out there. We need to get rid of some people so we can live long. Then after COVID, what they started doing? You got the richest people in the world trying to go to space and find somewhere else to live. I mean, you got to pay.
See how COVID affected us? They tried to get us going to space.
No, but speaking on the food though, I will say like I don't know during that time where they stored the food, but I feel like the food. No, forget that. This food tastes weird. Like period, this food tastes weird.
It don't taste the same.
It does not. This food tastes weird, okay? And we're not gonna say that it's linked to COVID because I'm a chicken head. I know my chicken titty. Like I eat chicken breast. I'm an avid chicken. Bok bok. That's me. This food tastes different. And so I don't know if it was like, in my opinion, I just picture it sitting at a storage yard for like weeks because they couldn't get people to unload, pick up stuff from docks. It was shortages of everything. And so I just can't figure out why the food tastes weird.
But even like you just said that, even with the storage, you know, we watched on the news them just killing cows. And I'm sitting here like, okay, y'all just killed all these cows, but y'all give a cow to each individual in the like all the stuff they would destroy, pouring out hundreds of gallons of milk. It's like, okay, so what you said is like, yeah, they got rid of the stuff and probably did start putting the clone meat on the shelf.
It can't be that many motherfucking chickens on Earth. The way people eat chicken. You got every restaurant selling chicken.
Don't put that in my head because I'm going vegetarian. Because what?
We about to get caged chicken, and caged chicken, the home of the chicken tender. They like, we go, where everybody else on flats and other stuff, we gonna get the chicken tender. What's a chicken tender?
But I ain't gonna act like I just didn't have a chicken tender before we started. So what's a chicken tender? It's dinner. It's a dinner. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. That's funny. But the food is definitely different. But I will say one of the biggest or most like impactful things of COVID was like the impact on the economy. And so I just feel like they were really in a rush to get this COVID vaccine out there so that they could get people back to spending money.
Big money.
Big money, because when you look at the impact of COVID, like, of course we know how it affected us, but on the bigger business side, like, if we can no longer go to the movie theaters, or if we're not catching those flights, or we're not doing X, Y, Z, we're not pouring into the economy anymore.
Going to the store, they tell you limited 10 in. Now you're waiting in a line around people to get to the store. Man, it was crazy.
They getting their money back. They calling it inflation.
They get that money
They
back.
know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It ain't no inflation.
Now
we gonna raise the prices and get that money back we done gave away that we ain't getting back. It's millions of dollars we ain't getting back we gave out on loans that we can't even do nothing about.
Yeah.
So we ain't getting none of that back. So we gonna raise everything. Because if you think about it, everything went up. Cars, food, housing, healthcare. Hey, didn't nothing stabilized. Nothing got cheaper.
They tried to raise the rate of pay, but that still ain't even accumulated. What you go to, it's crazy. You go to what? McDonald's, they trying to give you $20. Like you go, like you look at it, like minimum wage is still $7.25, and they literally are places trying to give you $15, $17 because they really need help.
And people really don't want to work.
Oh no.
Flip a burger.
They really don't want to work.
That's the greatest thing for for a high school kid. At $15, $16 an hour, you getting a 40-hour week. That's some good money for you.
I swear. As an adult, it's tough. But what? Now what I do imagine, what change?
$20 is tough right now.
Now, three things I will admit that I saw that changed with COVID. Like they said, the movie theaters. So streaming became the thing. Like since you couldn't go to the movie theater, they had to put it straight on there. So it became a battle of who can start the news platform. Netflix, Paramount, then Uber Eats and like delivery. Oh my God! Like it took it to the next level.
Podcast. Because the podcast.
That's really what podcast.
No, that's really what. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And Netflix. Netflix got
That's why I say they're streaming, man. Like those three things I can admit that I saw like boomed in COVID, but the three things I saw that was affected in COVID was just the people. Like, money, because a lot of people losing their jobs, the job getting closed, and like you say, the relationships or whatever. So yeah, the world may did good, but the people are the ones that really suffered through COVID, you know what I mean? So yeah, that was
I don't think it's over like 7 million deaths all over the world, like 1 million, over 1 million in the United States. But when you look at that number compared to what the population of the earth is, it was really small.
Very minute.
Yeah, but I mean, it's crazy because again, I keep saying I was living in New York at this time, so you can just imagine how scary it was. But I literally remember like they had the storage containers filled with dead bodies because there
That's
just
so
was
they
not
don't-
enough space. You know how scary it was? Like that was really a scary time for us. Like
How
even,
shut down was New York?
what do you mean? Like when you talking about lines, like I remember standing in the line for an hour to get into the grocery store, and it's
Just to
literally
get
like
in.
just to get in, and then there's
We had those
limited.
problems here.
No, we had those
Yeah.
problems, like limits on how much you could buy. Like
Yeah, those-
you definitely
yeah,
not
that was-
going places and getting certain items. Like it really was like a scary time. Like I really leaned into my Walmart 2-day delivery thing, so I ain't gonna lie, but it really was like a Hello Fresh. Like there were options, but it just was a scary time.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we didn't know if it was airborne or what.
And they
What
kept
they-
changing. Remember they first said Surface?
All that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
even started a business of COVID and started doing the COVID spray. Made some decent money, and after that, once they said it was over with, nobody. I go and pitching my little sales pitch to people. COVID over with. Hey, but you still get sick.
Remember the grocery store? They can literally have somebody out there wiping down every cart.
No, for real?
Like you said, that's one thing I meant. The cleanliness of COVID was great.
I'm gonna show you how much money they were spending on COVID. Amazon itself was spending over $20,000 a week just for people to come in there and spray with those electric static sprayers,
Yeah.
just to spray doorknobs, handles, and things that people touch.
Okay.
$20,000 a week. That's a lot. That's at every location.
Yeah.
So you got to think between all their locations. That's at one location, $80,000 to $100,000 a month. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, but you were saving a lot of lives too. Like it's something where I think that there was an extreme we reached during COVID, but we don't have to be that extreme. But we still need to keep some of those cleanliness measures in place.
Oh, yeah.
Because although you don't need to be spending $20,000 to sanitize, like you can hire a Lysol boy. You responsible for going around and like and Lysol all of the Clorox, whatever the case you want to call it. But like we've got to get back to a happy medium because
Yeah.
if not, these illnesses. Flu. I don't know where the flu went during coronavirus, but it's back
Everything
around.
heart attacks
Everything disappeared during
If you got
coronavirus.
sick during COVID, you died from COVID.
You
or
died.
had COVID.
Oh, let's not even talk about how many people the fake deaths associated and linked to it.
My brother, rest in peace to grandma, but she went in the hospital with a broke leg. That's all. She was healthy as an ox. She had a broke leg and she died. They said it was
COVID.
Yeah, that's crazy. But let's talk about how like COVID, I know for a fact I had COVID on record like twice, but that's when we identified, we knew that was the name.
Yeah.
But I definitely remember getting sick back in like November of 2019 from
We
riding
all
those
got sick.
stuff.
We
I
all
feel like
sick.
everybody got
Yeah.
sick and no one knew what it was.
Just had the shits.
That's what he said. One of my good friends, he called me like, man, I can't get off the toilet. I'm like, go to the hospital.
You know, it goes down in the truth lounge, so you got to be
Definitely
ready.
go down.
The truth can hurt, but it also can set you free.
Truth line.
The truth